Hello, my beautiful friends. My name is Carrie Cox, and welcome to my channel where we learn how to use our personal power to build a connection between our mind, body, and spirit. In today's video, we're going to talk about the third eye chakra. The third eye chakra is located in the center of the forehead, right between the eyes. So it's going to fall right about here. And right behind this spot is actually right in the middle of our head is something called the pineal gland. And the pineal gland is the seat of our intuition. And so that's really where the third eye came from. It's the gland that is in the middle of the brain. And the third eye is the sixth chakra. So starting at the base of the spine, we have the root chakra, moving up to the sacral chakra, the solar plexus, to the heart chakra, then the throat chakra, and now the third eye chakra. The third eye chakra is all about intuition, vision, perception, and psychic abilities. And so the whole term, the sixth sense, came from, it's the sixth chakra. And this chakra is all about the difference between knowledge and wisdom. So at the sixth chakra, this is where knowledge comes from. This is the body parts that are associated with the sixth chakra is the brain, the pineal gland, the eyes, the ears, and the nose. So we start getting into this aspect of knowledge, being that we use our brain and we gain knowledge by reading books and having experience. And when you start using your third eye, you're moving from that brain power into that intuition. So intuition brings a sense of wisdom because you're using an inner wisdom, an inner guidance. And I believe that that's more than your experiences here in this lifetime. That's a culmination of all of your experiences from all of your past lives that you just don't remember right now. So depending on what played out in your other lives and how far you got in your ascension process in your other lives kind of plays out in where you are today and when you wake up and how you live as far as with wisdom and knowledge. This wisdom is our intuition, and we've gained it from the beginning of going back to the beginning of our existence, but then also there's this collective wisdom that we can tap into that's built upon the wisdom of everyone as a collective. So we can tap into that wisdom as well as what we have gained in our own personal experience. Egyptians call this center the Eye of Horus, and they say that Horus resides in our pineal gland. So if you've seen the symbol of the all-seeing eye, that has to do with the third eye. And this is how we see the world from a spiritual point of view. So it's how we are. It's what we're using to see in higher dimensions. It's part of our superhuman ability, and it's a reminder to us to always have our intuition at the forefront of our thinking. What we need to do is learn how to combine using our mind with our intuition. With the center, it's all about opening and strengthening and improving our mind. It's about becoming more open-minded. We want to gain our power from false truth and learn how to act from our place of intuition, learn how to use and listen to that inner voice, that inner guidance. That it speaks a lot quieter than the ego. The ego, which is coming more from that solar plexus, is a louder voice. It's the voice that's going to be obvious. The intuitive voice is a little more quiet and subtle. When we open our third eye, we're able to tap into natural gifts and abilities, maybe talents that we didn't even know we had. And that's because we're bringing in that wisdom that we may have learned something in a previous life, or maybe when we were younger, but we forgot, and we're opening it up. So all of a sudden, some talent may reemerge again for you, and it just may come naturally to you. So when the chakra is in balance, the way it plays out for us, the way it looks, is it allows us to have clear thoughts where we can connect with that inner wisdom and that inner voice. We become more clear-headed. We're able to cut through that fear and that illusion more. whereas others may be stuck in their fear and their illusion. We can see through that, and we can see those false truths easier when we're able to see the deeper meaning in things, and we're able to come from a place where we're not seeing things through so much fear and illusion. We're able to learn detachment, because detachment is part of our ascension process. We need to detach from the things that are influencing our mind. We have to repattern. We have to move from a place of thinking with our subconsciousness and think more consciously. And our subconscious runs the program in our head 95% of the time. So we're only conscious 5% of the time. So it's learning how to shift that and repattern those old beliefs, those conditioning patterns that were placed on us when we were a child. It's about breaking down those programmings and repatterning your mind and being more conscious. And when we do that, we're able to then see more of the truth. But we can only do this with our third eye. We can only do this with our intuition. We can't do this with our thinking mind. It doesn't come from that rational, analytical place. It comes from that more intuitive place. Your beliefs are meant to steer you wrong if you let it. So the biggest lesson with the third eye is going to be learning detachment so that you can detach from those beliefs, and then you're not steered in the wrong direction. You're not steered with fear and illusion. So when the chakra is underactive, some of the symptoms that will play out is confusion, a lack of concentration and understanding, and it really plays out in someone being very fearful of the world around them. And when you're overactive, which is on the opposite end of the scale, now you're going to start to look more proud, manipulative, authoritarian. And what can happen here when we become too overactive in the third eye chakra is it could start to detach us from the physical world, because we're living too much in the spiritual world. What can start to happen, and you'll see this if you look at homeless people on the streets that are out there talking to themselves, maybe what has happened is they've become so detached from this material earthly plane of existence that they are only existing in that higher state of consciousness with too much energy in that third eye. And so they're not balanced. And when that gets so far off balanced, and they have no grounding in their root chakra, grounding them to this 3D, they can get lost in that spiritual world and confused, and their mind will start to fragment pieces, and they don't know where they are or who they are anymore. Also, when you become too overactive, it could start to lead to hallucinations and these very vivid lucid dreams and daydreaming that it may even start happening during the day. So that's where you start to get lost in that spirit world and losing your attachment from here at the earthly 3D plane of existence. So it's really important to really work at keeping our third eye in balance, and then also keeping those lower chakras rooted and grounded here into the earth. You know, that's kind of what life is life is all about life is kind of really all about like a game of keeping your chakras in balance, keeping that energy balanced, and learning how to move through those states of consciousness, starting down at that root chakra, moving all the way up to the crown chakra. And when you can nail that game and you can figure out that you do this by keeping that energy system in balance and keeping it cleared and clean, then you're raising that level of consciousness. And that's really what life is all about. It's what being here is all about. So some of the physical symptoms that may play out if this chakra is blocked is it could be chronic headaches, left eye problems, sleep issues, sinus problems and pressures, ear problems, dizziness, migraines, high blood pressure, amnesia, dyslexia, and body image disorders. And it could manifest emotionally if this center is blocked with anxiety, poor decision-making abilities, self-doubt, memory issues, learning problems, hallucinations, paranoia, delusions. You may indulge in fantasies, have a lot of panic and fear, nightmares, obsessions, bipolar, and mood swings. So if we're out of balance in the third eye chakra, how do we bring that into balance? Well, we can do that by chanting Om. We can practice yoga. We can paint, draw, practice any kind of art, and then watch your thoughts and your food. So with the pineal gland being the gland at the third eye chakra, you really want to be careful with the water you're drinking. Are you getting too much fluoride? Because that kind of thing calcifies the pineal gland. And watch what you're eating, because food affects your pineal gland too. If your third eye is closed and you want to work at opening it, one meditation to work at that would be to meditate visualizing the color indigo. You can wear the color indigo, surround yourself with the color indigo. You could meditate on the Eye of Horus, and you would do that by really focusing in on the pupil in the Eye of Horus, and only do it in small increments, because you don't want that eye to, you just want to crack it open and work towards it. You don't want to blast it open. So what you're doing is you're opening a psychic portal within yourself. So you want to do this in small increments, and eating foods that may be purple or indigo in color could help with your third eye. Things like eggplant is just one thing that's popping up in the top of my head is eggplant. But you can look online and find a whole list of foods that help with your third eye. When this chakra's in balance, we have good mental strength and we have good vision. We don't have attachment to the material world. We're not living in fear. We don't have fear around death, because we understand and we can see with that intuition that we are infinite spiritual beings having a temporary human experience. Our perception, our imagination, and our clairvoyance are clear and heightened when we're in balance. So really, we are all born with that third eye open, and as a baby, we are definitely seeing beyond this 3D existence. If you've ever watched a baby, they will like stare and smile at things that aren't there. They react to things that we can't see because they're much more open. And at some point in our early childhood, we close down that third eye. A lot of us may see something that scares us, so we shut it down. It may be programming or conditioning from parents that shut it down. But at some point, a lot of us will shut this center down, and really working at opening that back up is really what the goal is when you're working with the third eye chakra. Now, a lot of the younger generations coming in nowadays, these new waves of humans coming through, they're not shutting their third eye down like a lot of the older generations did, like the indigos did. These younger waves are keeping that third eye open and really having more of a remembrance of, that veil is thinner. So they're remembering a lot more. And so some affirmations that you could say to help with this would be, I am spiritually awake. I am intuitive. I am playful. I am full of wisdom. And that's all for today on the third eye chakra. Join me in my next chakra series video where we talk all about the crown chakra, which is the 7th chakra in the body. It is the last of the main chakra centers. So join me again in our crown chakra video, and I hope you all have a blessed day. Love and light. Namaste.